Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, just want to pick back up where we left off with our talk on are humans self-aware AI? And of course, that's a rhetorical question. For the most part, this talk has been about our origins and the creation of Homo sapiens, and of course the genetic manipulation by the Anuna, the Anunnaki, as they're also called later on by the Akkadians and Babylonians and such. And the Bible, you would know them as the fallen angels and the Watchers in the Book of Enoch. And of course, I've started theorizing that these were scientists from the Atlantean civilization, survivors that were essentially rebuilding civilization on Earth again after a major catastrophe. So we left off yesterday. We were talking about humans have 2 less chromosomes than primates, that are 2 of our telomeres were fused together, which shortens the lifespans on human beings, gives us an expiration date, planned obsolescence. And we were also talking about the inception of the spirit into the human avatar, which was represented by the pine cone being inserted into the tree of life in Sumerian depictions. And so yeah, let's pick back up, folks. I want to take this a different route now, and this is a much maligned book called the Nag Hammadi Scriptures. And of course, what the Nag Hammadi Scriptures are is they are a collection of scrolls and writings that were discovered in Nag Hammadi, Egypt. Now, these were purposely hidden away. They were essentially what are called the Gnostic writings. And there's a reason why they were hidden away. It's because the early church, powered by the Roman Empire, at least the crumbling Roman Empire, was trying to wipe out competition with their state official religion. The Gnostics were considered heretics. Their knowledge was considered dangerous. Of course, the biblical New Testament version of salvation is by asking forgiveness of God through Jesus Christ. And that's how you find salvation for your sins and such, so that you can go to heaven and not hell. Which essentially, hell is not actually in the Bible. It's alluded to, at least people think, kind of like rapture, kind of twisting some ideas and narratives and such to come up with that man-made vision or term. But the Gnostic beliefs were a little different. They were more based on you found salvation through knowledge, that you had to delve into the mysteries of this realm to find enlightenment and to free your soul from this world that they explained essentially like the Matrix, that souls were trapped in and trapped into a reincarnation trap, and that humans' souls are harvested essentially like batteries by these creatures or these entities called archons, which would be similar to the jinn or the demons in the Muslim and the Judean faith. And these archons were ruled by a figure called the Demiurge, Yaldabaoth. And the Gnostics alluded to this Yaldabaoth actually being the Yahweh character in the Old Testament. They've seen him as the false creator God, the God that boasted as being the only God, as being the creator of all, but that he was a liar from the beginning, and that he trapped souls in this matrix, in this realm, and he uses his archons to manage this realm and to manage those souls. So you could understand why this would be very problematic for the early church, because they were trying to tie in Jesus Christ to the Father, Yahweh, from the Old Testament. And, of course, the divine feminine, the mother creator, or at least the mother creator essence, was also hidden away, whereas the Gnostic teachings taught that the Holy Spirit was the divine feminine. They called her Sophia, the co-creator with the Father creator. At least the opposite of the masculine, because they understood that this realm is a realm of duality, and this realm is represented and built upon duality of opposites, negative and positive, light and dark, masculine and feminine, and such. They actually had a lot deeper understanding into the workings of this realm than what was taught in the New Testament or the Old Testament. But they did allude to the female creator, Sophia. And of course, we know that the Catholic Church replaced Sophia because they had to have some kind of mother figure, right? Because not everybody's ignorant to believe that creation is just masculine, right? Though a lot of Christians and Judeans actually are that ignorant, but let's just move on from that. So what they did was they turned worship with Mary, the mother of Jesus. That became their mother patron saint. And those of you that are Catholic are well aware that many times Catholics pray more to Mary than they do to Jesus or to the Old Testament God. Which is interesting, but it is what it is. So, the Gnostics were dangerous because you got to understand at the Council of Nicaea, the church leaders at the time and the synagogue leaders, oh yes, those Pharisees and Sadducees, also had places at this table of Council of Nicaea. And the Roman power elite were also present there. Now, this was to build a new state religion for Rome. Rome was going to set aside their old gods that, of course, were adapted off of the Greek gods. And they were going to adopt this new Jesus Christ character and make this their new state religion. And this was all done by working with these powers of state and powers of religion to come up with this book that you call the Bible. See, what most people don't realize is that most of the New Testament was written over 100 years after Yeshua's death, after his disciples were dead. Most of the Old Testament was also compiled and written AD. Now, there are Hebrew texts that go back to typically a nice rounded number is around 500 BC. That's where you'll find some of the oldest Hebrew texts, like Job and such. There's been some references found on carved rocks and things that allude to Yahweh, but get this, folks. Yahweh was a Canaanite storm god, which is interesting because many tie Yahweh to Zeus in the Greek pantheon. And it's also interesting to note that much of the teachings in the New Testament was tied to Zoroastrian faith. The Zoroastrian faith was actually the first faith that brought forward the battle between light and dark, between God and Ahriman, or he was called Ahura Mazda. And these two gods were battling with each other, and it's very interesting that the Zoroastrians are tied heavily into the Old Testament and the New Testament. In fact, I would deign to speculate that a lot of their teachings were incorporated into both. Isn't it interesting? Do you know who the three magi were that came to Joseph and Mary with the baby Yeshua? They were Zoroastrian magi. That's what they called their highest order, like teachers or clerics, were called magi. Those were Zoroastrians, folks. They're literally in your New Testament. They were the oh my gosh. See, I wish people actually studied history too. You got to study some history to understand this stuff. But when you believe your book is the absolute truth, and you unwaveringly believe in it, and you actually believe it was like written in real time, you miss all of this information that's very important. So those were three Zoroastrian priests, magi, that came to visit them. And of course, the battle between light and dark, that all came from Zoroastrian. And this demonic figure, Ahriman, was essentially your devil from the Bible. And Ahura Mazda was, get this, once again, let's tie this into archetypes. Enlil, the Sumerian Anuna Anunnaki Enlil, was Ahura Mazda. The god, he was called the god of the air, the commander of earth in the Anuna hierarchy. Same character, different faith, but same archetype. So, we've got a lot to unpack here, folks, and we're not going to be able to touch upon it all. And understand we're going down a different path, but this all ties back to the Genesis story, okay? Trust me, these are all the connection points. This is how my brain works. I see the bigger picture, but now I'm trying to tie all these what would seem separate things into the main picture here. So, the Gnostics were also influenced by Zoroastrianism. This battle between good and evil on earth. So this Demiurge, this Yaldabaoth, who the Gnostics believe was Yahweh, he was essentially created behind the Father Creator's back, the true Father Creator, the Most High, you could call the Father Creator, who is Anu. El Elyon is Anu in the Sumerian pantheon, not Yahweh. Yahweh was one of his sons. See, that's why there's so many different names in the Old Testament, and everybody says it's all different names for God. No, they are titles for different Anunnaki, because the Old Testament is based on multiple Anunnaki gods vying for power and control and worship over the human denizens on Earth. The Most High is Anu. He was the highest ranking Anunnaki. He was the king of the Anunnaki. And he was not of this world. He was not in this world. Now his sons were Yahweh and Enki. And Lil, Yahweh, and Enki Ea, the serpent, were physically in this realm. And they were rivals. They were brothers, but they were rivals. Well, this mother creator, according to the Gnostics, Sophia, she went behind her husband's back, the masculine creator, and she created her own son, a bastard son that did not contain the essence of both creators, of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So there was no balance in this creation. And when she realized the mistake she'd made, because she realized that this being was going to be a monster in its own right, this Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, she sent it into a far distant part of creation, a dark zone, you could call it, to try to hide it from her husband. Well, this Yaldabaoth became self-aware, and he realized that he had these creation powers because he was a child of Sophia. Now, he was out of balance. Kind of like a lot of children that are brought up in single households with just the mother. They kind of go crazy a little bit, if you get what I'm saying. And I'm not saying every child comes out bad in that situation, but let's be real. When a child is brought up without the balance of the masculine and the feminine energy, a lot of times that child is really messed up. Well, Yaldabaoth was a case study in this. In fact, a God-level case study in this. So he was bored because he became self-aware and he was just in this darkness, essentially floating by himself. So he started to form a realm. And he started to form creatures to do his bidding. He started to create angels. And they all had different aspects. Some of these angels had good aspects and some had bad aspects. And of course, they were called archons by the Gnostics. Well, he created this realm, Earth, and he had these creatures that he created to do his bidding. And he created the animals of this realm, the makeup of this realm, he created this world. But he wanted to bring other spirits into this realm because he became aware that there were other spiritual, conscious energy in the universe. And so he made this realm to entice souls or to trick souls to come into this realm. And then he fashioned these bodies, human avatars, they were vessels to trap these souls. Once souls were curious to check this realm out, this lower dimension, this lower vibrational dimension, and he was able to coax spirits, souls, whatever you want to call them, into these avatars. And then once they were here, he built a net around this creation that basically was like a reincarnation trap. And when a human would die, their spirit would leave, but then it would be set right back into a new embryo, to be born again. And his archons feed off of this spirit energy. because he created them out of darkness. They need light and energy to survive. So they're essentially like energy vampires. I think this would ring true with a lot of people nowadays when you look at the ruling elite and the things they do. A lot of this can allude to that. So, Yaldabaoth had his world, a simulated creation, essentially, because all Earth is a poor copy of the heavenly realms. Because Yaldabaoth was not creating in balance with the divine feminine and masculine. And he was a liar, and he was in confusion from the beginning. Sorry, folks, I was backing my car up and such. So I would challenge you to go read the Nag Hammadi scriptures. Some of it's going to seem really far out to you, but there's a lot of amazing insights you can find, and you'll start to understand why the church had to track down and dismiss all of the Gnostics and burn all of their churches at the time, and burn all of their writings, because this was dangerous knowledge. You got to understand, because Yaldabaoth and his minions were creating religions to trick humans, to put humans asleep, to make humans obedient, to make humans forget the power that they are, to get them to forget that they are fractals of the true God, of the source, and that they are all powerful, infinitely living creators themselves. And that what scared him was that because our spirits are fractals of the source, he realized that we contain the masculine and the feminine divine energy in us, and we are complete beings, energetic, consciousness wise. And we have forms, folks, on the other side. We'll talk about that another day. We're not like spirits floating around in space when you pass, folks. When you have an OBE or an NDE, you have a body, okay? It's a light body, but it is physical still. It can be as dense as you want it to be. So, these bodies are sad copies of what we have in the higher dimensions. But Yaldabaoth was afraid because he realized that these avatar bodies that he created and these spirits he coaxed into these bodies to give them the essence of life, to animate them, he realized that they were actually more powerful than him. They just didn't know it. Because he had put on, when they designed this realm, they put some kind of a slumber or stupor on people. So when you come here, you are cut off from your higher self, from the higher realm knowledge. And so you're brought into this third dimension and you're ignorant, because he was ignorant. And he was a jealous God, and he was very, very hateful of Adam and Eve, because he realized that they were much more than he wanted them to be. And it scared him that he realized that they had the true spark of divinity, that they were creations of the mother and the father combined essence. And he was just a bastard, half conceptualized God son. And even his own mother did not want him. Now, we're going to have to go deeper into this. Sophia realized what she had done, and she had a fix for this issue. And this is going to be very interesting for you Christians, because as we delve into the Gnostic teachings and how it ties in with this Old Testament Judean God, and how spirits are, let's just say, why we're here and how we get out, is going to be interesting. And some of you will say, well, this is a completely opposite conceptualization of creation from the Sumerian versions. And I would say no, not at all. Because as we start delving into these Sumerian gods even more too, and you're going to see there's a lot of connections and a lot of similarities. Of course, it's not all exactly cut and paste, because you're talking about teachings that are spread out over hundreds and thousands of years apart. And of course, man's involved in it. And of course, the archons of this realm are also involved in this game. So they got to be protecting their master, right? And they're the ones working on draining your energy. They're the ones that have essentially made you the battery in the Matrix, like Neo discovered. And those of you that don't understand this, not the Wachowski brothers or Wachowski brothers, whatever the heck their names are, or sisters now, I guess, they did not write the Matrix. Look into that, okay? Who the true writer of the Matrix was. And of course, the Terminator trilogy was supposed to be tied into the Matrix trilogy. They're supposed to go hand in hand. But the Gnostic teachings were what the movie The Matrix was based off of. The Matrix, the movie, was based off of the Nag Hammadi teachings. So this is why this is going to get real interesting, folks. Real interesting. You are not what you think you are. You are an infinite, powerful fractal of God, which makes you a son or daughter of God, which makes you immortal and a creator in your own right. You've been tricked. You've been enticed. You entered this realm for some reason. And we're going to go deep into all this. We got a lot of avenues to go down. I hope you're enjoying this series. It's unfortunate it hasn't been getting as many views as I thought. From the very time that I've started this channel, YouTube has been just limiting the heck out of my reach. Most of the reach I'm reaching is through my followers off of my Facebook page, which is unfortunate too, because my Facebook page is limited by 90% of distribution. So it seems that YouTube is kind of viewing my content in the same way. It is what it is, folks, but I could use your help in sharing my videos and, liking and subscribing to my videos, commenting. All those things will help. We need to get some traction, folks, because this is important stuff. And look, there's many great people that teach on these subjects. But what I try to do is, for one, I connect the dots on a wide variety of things that I've tied together. And I try to simplify all this for the regular person to understand. And I give you those rabbit holes to go research. And you know what, folks? I expect you to go research that. I'm not trying to tell you to take everything I tell you as absolute gospel here, okay? I'm challenging you to research these yourself and see what you come up with. I'm telling you, go read the Nag Hammadi. Go read these cuneiform stories. Go do some research on Zoroastrianism. Go study these things. Research the Council of Nicaea. Go find these things out for yourself, folks. I can guarantee you that if you ask your Pastor Dan questions about these things, he's going to say that the Gnostic teachings are heretical and that you should never talk about them. He's going to tell you that the Sumerian cuneiform stories are demonic, and he's going to tell you that Zoroastrianism is a fake religion. So you got to understand, folks, that these people they're compartmentalized, and they're teaching what they're allowed to teach, and that's it. If you've ever heard of the World Council of Churches, then you'll understand that all of your churches are given marching orders, just like the elite are given their marching orders by the WEF, the Bilderberg, and all these other agencies and round tables and secret societies and such. So is your church. Your pastor is given marching orders every Sunday on what to teach. Oh yeah, they may tell you that they are the ones coming up with all that and everything. BS, folks. BS. Look it up. Most churches, especially if they're tax-exempt churches, have to toe the line that they have to follow a script. And it don't matter what church, Lutheran, Baptist, Anglican, Catholic. It don't matter, folks. They're all controlled. They're all part of the New World Order, and they're all designed to control your perception of reality, to dumb you down, and to lower yourself from what you really are. They want you to believe you're a dumb sheep. Just be a sheep. Oh, wait for the sheep herder. The good shepherd, like Dumuzi, right? Inanna's husband, Dumuzi. If you study the Inanna's descent into the underworld, you'll find a lot of similarities between the crucifixion story. And her husband that she went to go save from the underworld was Dumuzi, the good shepherd. He was the Sumerian god of shepherds, of the sheepfold. Very interesting stuff here, folks. But you're going to be told that all that's nonsense. And there's a reason, because knowledge, right? They want you dumb. They want you a sheep. They look at you as an animal. If you look at the I don't know how to put this because you're probably not allowed to even say this word. Let's just say the other book opposite of the Torah that the Judeans love to read. It starts with a tal, and you know what I'm saying? It ends with a mood. Look into that. They literally call you all cattle. Yes, because they work for their god, the Demiurge, and they believe when their Messiah shows up that we will all be slaves, work slaves and sex slaves to them, and that they will just wipe out the ones they don't want around. A lot of interesting stuff here, folks. And of course, they also had a hand in at the Council of Nicaea also. They wanted to tie that new church to their church. And there's a reason for all of this. And I can tell you that Yeshua was not really game on this. Yeshua was the opposite of what all these people were. Yeshua was trying to teach you the true connection with the Creator of all. He was trying to tell you his Father is not of this world. He was trying to tell you that you had to overcome the flesh because the flesh is a lower dimensional vessel that you have to bring your spirit, you have to lower your spirit down into. And and he was trying to explain that this was also a realm controlled by the devil, right? So a lot of interesting stuff, folks. But also you'll find teachings of Yeshua in the Nag Hammadi that is not in your Bible, your New Testament, and you'll see a different insight into who Yeshua truly was. A mystic of the time. He was essentially a rebel, a mystic, closer to an ancient time hippie than he was to some kind of a conservative, hardcore, religious type person, okay? I know that'll upset some of you, but that is actually the truth. So anyways, hey guys, we'll dig into this deeper next time. I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you later.